What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the BZ Sports Show, and I welcome you to one of my favorite segments we're going to do. Obviously, you guys know I love college football, and this segment is going to be called Three and Out, where I am going to go over the top three, or at least my top three, biggest takeaways of the college football week. This past week, obviously, it was week two, and it was a pretty wild week. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. First of all, thank you guys for tuning in. This is going to be a pretty wild, well, not wild, but pretty fun show. And I'm looking forward to bringing this to you guys. Before we begin, please don't forget to comment. I love interacting with you guys. I love the engagement. So please leave your comments below. I'll try to get to most of them. I'll try to get to all of them if I can. Please engage with the conversation. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Facebook page. Instagram's coming soon. And no, let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into it. So again, this is called Three and Out. Top three takeaways from week two of the college football weekend. Now I understand it is Tuesday. I will have this out normally a little earlier, but life happens, right? So, but we got it out. And as you can see, where I was this weekend, I was in Boulder, Colorado, and I'm telling you right now, Boulder is definitely the epicenter of college football, and we're going to start there. We're gonna start right there. As as the Colorado Buffaloes, they roll Nebraska. They roll Nebraska 34 or 36-14. And before I get to the game, because the game was great, and obviously Shedeur Sanders did his thing, and obviously Travis Hunter did his thing, and all those other guys did their thing. I just kind of want to tell you the experience I had really quickly at Colorado. It's not a joke. Colorado really is the epicenter of college football right now. It really is. It really is. Colorado is running college football, and if you were actually there, you understand what I mean. And I'm not. This is not in hyperbole, guys. It was an amazing atmosphere. Never in my life did I feel like I'd ever be at Folsom Field, like ever. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. It was my brother. My brother and I try to go to these games at least, not Colorado games, but go to college football games at least a couple times a year. It's like a tradition we've started, and I absolutely love it. And this was the first game we've been to this year. He's a big Nebraska fan, and as you can see, he didn't have the greatest time. But I mean, Colorado. I mean, they weren't great in the first half, but they dominated this game. Second half, they came out firing. I should have put their stats up there, not Jeff Sims in Nebraska, but they came out firing. Shedeur Sanders, we'll talk about him a little later. He came out firing. That was just a great overall game, and it showed me that Colorado can win in a number of ways. Remember the TCU game? No, defensively, obviously they were not great. They obviously they let 41 points, and they won that game 44-41 or something like that last week against TCU. In this game, they really showed how good they can be defensively. Now, obviously, Nebraska, I'm not gonna lie to you, Nebraska is not the greatest team or measure of offense, if I may, for what we saw. But I was very impressed at a couple things with Colorado. I was very impressed at their their secondary, very athletic secondary led by Travis Hunter. Right, very, very impressed at that. And honestly, I was actually really impressed with the linebacker play. I'm not gonna get too much into this because I don't want to spend too much time on this. But Colorado showed they can play on many levels. Now, Nebraska, obviously, again, not the greatest showing, not the greatest measurement, and obviously, Colorado has their next game is going to be against Colorado State. Then they have Oregon. They go to Eugene on September 23rd, and then they have USC. So we're going to figure out what who Colorado is these next couple of weeks, these next 3 weeks, when they have USC or they have Oregon in a couple weeks, and then they have USC coming up to Boulder on September 30th. Right. So we're going to figure it out. But college football right now lives in Boulder. I mean that. I'm not just saying that because I went to the game. I'm not just saying that because I have the shirt on. It really does. It was an amazing game, amazing atmosphere, and that honestly, like, that's probably going to lead until Colorado loses, which they probably won't next week because they have Colorado State coming in. Until they lose, it's probably going to be the lead story in a lot of shows and a lot of these podcasts. So, hey man, Dion Prime doing his thing up there, man. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's really made this season pretty special so far. About Colorado, the number 18 Colorado Buffaloes, by the way. Okay. Let's see. I live between Denver and Boulder, and the energy of Prime. Yeah, I mean it is. I don't live there. I live in the Bay right now. So, but yeah, I agree. Whoever this is, it was the energy is amazing. Like it's not a joke. And I'm not gonna say that he's brought an HBCU atmosphere because that would be disingenuous. But I will say I've been to a lot of college football games, and I spoke to some people there, and they said they hadn't seen this much energy since the 90s with Colorado. And that makes sense with Cordell Stewart and Shah Salam. Like it makes a lot of sense. And it was just fun. It was just really, really fun to be around that. This person says, I know we don't want quarterbacks to run a lot, but Shedeur needs to roll out more and run if the wide receivers are covered. To take in his pocket, passing thing too serious. Now, great point. He does hold on to the ball too long. He does seem to, it really seemed like he was trying not to pinpoint. I'm glad you brought this up. It seemed like he was not trying to kind of laser focus on Travis Hunter, because there was a lot of times. I was obviously there, so I watched the whole game, and I was really just following Travis Hunter and seeing where he was. And by the way, he played just about every snap. It was incredible to watch. Like, I mean, I know we saw it on TV, but it's incredible to watch when you're out there because he literally doesn't leave the field. Like, literally, he will stand on the field and not leave it. like almost like high school. Like, but anyways, Shedeur was like trying not to laser focus on him, and it looked like he was trying to spread it around, and he may have just kind of seemed to be almost forcing that, and forced him to hold on to the ball longer than he needed to. So that first half, that really showed, right? That really showed. But second half, he really just let it go, let it loose, came out with a game plan. They spread everybody out, and it was perfect. And then they pretty much rolled them the rest of the game. Nebraska had no answer for Shedeur. And he played an amazing football game. And he's an NFL quarterback. He is an NFL quarterback. Like, he made a throw in the second quarter for a touchdown to, I believe his last name is Weaver. It was him rolling to a right, rolling to his left, and he threw a dart, and it was beautiful. So he's an NFL quarterback, but yeah, great atmosphere, really fun to watch. I really enjoyed it, and I honestly hope to go back in a couple of weeks, but we'll see. We'll see how that looks. All right, but moving forward, there was possibly the game of the week, right? Texas rolls Alabama. They avenged their loss to the Crimson Tide of last year, where they honestly, if we're being honest, Texas probably should have won this game 2 years in a row because last year I felt like they got hosed, and Quinn Ewers actually went down, and I don't even know. I think it was Casey Thompson who came in. Speaking of Nebraska, came in and spelled Quinn Ewers when he went down last year. But yeah, Texas in this game, this was a pretty much tight the entire game up until Texas pulled away in the fourth quarter. And look, Quinn Ewers was great. He was fantastic. And this was the game he needed. This was the game Texas needed to kind of build that momentum to make that college football playoff. I said this was a must-win for the Longhorns, because if they win this game, they're going to easily position themselves for the college football playoff, right? They lose, I felt like they were out, right? And then Alabama was going to have a chance. I don't think Alabama's out just yet, but we'll see. I'll have something to say about that in a minute. But yeah, I think I do believe that the Longhorns have put themselves in great position. Alabama, I must say I wasn't excuse me, I won't want to go too far. I must say Alabama didn't look good. They didn't look good on either side of the ball, particularly the defense. Secondary especially. Ewers was pretty much dotting them the entire game. The score actually makes it look closer than it really was. It didn't feel this close, even though it was close for the majority of the game. It didn't feel like it was 34-24. It really, I think Kurt Herbstreit even said it. It felt like it was more like I don't know, like up by like 2 scores or 2 touchdowns, but Texas just couldn't capitalize until the end. And where they had some turnovers, and Jalen Monroe, I don't have his numbers up, but Jalen Monroe believe he was like 10. I'm gonna say he was like 11 for 20, 14 for 27. Had 3 interceptions, sacked 5 times. It almost looked at times. It almost looked like Nick Saban didn't know how to coach a guy like Jalen Monroe. He's never had a quarterback like him before, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I was talking to my brother watching this game, and he reminds me so much of Terrell Pryor in terms of his mechanics, his footwork. And I'm talking about Jalen Monroe here, and he just didn't look good. And this may be a year where Alabama, I think they can lose about 2 to 3 games because of the quarterback play. And, they just don't have those all superstar guys on offense right now. But, we'll see. Guys develop, guys get better over the year. I don't want to lay them, I don't want to write them off too early. It's still Alabama, right? But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. But, it's not just Alabama. It's not just Alabama. And I'm kind of combining these two. This was my number 2 story. I'm kind of combining the Texas Alabama game because it kind of goes with the second topic, right? The SEC, they're down pretty bad, man. I know people are gonna say I may be overreacting. I don't think I'm overreacting. I really don't. I don't think I'm overreacting. They're 1-4 against top 25 teams so far, at least 3-6 against the Power 5. And what's worse about this? What's worse about SEC is that they've lost by double digits every single one of those games. It's not they're losing close games or they're just kicking or something. They've lost by double digits every single game that they have lost. Now the team that saved them from going 0-5 this year so far against top 25 was Ole Miss, who I wouldn't say just edged out Tulane, but Tulane was actually winning. It was a back and forth, but Tulane kind of lost some steam. Ole Miss starts to overpower them, and they win that game. But it wasn't by double digits, by the way. I don't think it was. But that was the thing with this game. It wasn't by double digits, but 1-4. This, I was gonna poll this tomorrow, and I'll say it now. If you watch this video at some point, I'll say it now. Like, a question I wanted to ask, because the SEC, I believe they've won obviously the last 2. Georgia, and Georgia, by the way, they haven't played anybody, but they're killing everybody. They've won 93-10 over the last 2 weeks against their opponents, which is insane. But I'll say I want to ask this: who do you guys think is going to win the national championship? The SEC or the field? I'm probably gonna poll. I'm gonna poll that tomorrow on Be Easy Sports Entertainment polls. And I'm curious, right? Because I do think the SEC is down. I know there's Tennessee may do something and Georgia's still there. So there's going to be teams that kind of pick up the slack a little bit. But Bama, I believe, is down. I think they're going to lose 2 or 3 games. Florida, even though they beat McNeese State, that game was unusually close until the second quarter. It was weird. South Carolina is down. Right, Texas A&M lost to Miami, which was an upset, and I think Jimbo Fisher, in my opinion, is out the door after this year. I mean, it depends on how they finish, but I don't, and I'm not a Jimbo fan. I'm a Florida State fan, despite the shirt. I care less for Jimbo Fisher. I really could care less. So, I think he's at the door. But so they were down. So the SEC, man. I know they're the most powerful conference, but I've been saying to people and people online were getting on me. But look, I've always said the SEC is top heavy. It just is. It's a top heavy conference. And I understand, yes, most conferences are top heavy. But when I say that, I'm referring to the people who are saying teams like Kentucky can go into like the ACC and win it, or a team like Vanderbilt could go to the Big 12 and dominate. I've heard this from SEC fans. I'm not, and multiple SEC fans too. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not saying this because one person said it. I'm in enough college football groups I've lived in the South, for a couple of years in college. I know what these SEC fans are like. I know what they're like. Very egotistical, very prideful, the SEC over everybody. And now that I'm saying that they're down bad and that and that they are top heavy. Now it's all about super excuses. Now they're saying, oh, every conference is top heavy. No, because that wasn't the energy they were showing before. But SEC and these SEC fans, right? Just bad start of the season. It could turn around, obviously. It could turn around. Obviously their strength of schedule is going to help them out a little bit. So it's still early. We'll see. But 1-4 top 25 teams, 3-6 against Power 5 teams so far this year. That to me it's telling me that this conference is pretty down right now. Okay. All right. And like I said, in this 3 and out segment, I like to reserve the third automatically to talk about individual performances or a little bit of Heisman. And ladies and gentlemen, a new Heisman candidate has entered the chat. We just discussed him, and that's Quinn Ewers. I think he has a signature win already under his belt, unlike Caleb Williams and Shedeur Sanders. Now, their games are coming. Obviously, Shedeur and Caleb have a showdown on September 30th. And Shedeur actually has a game, not this week, but the following week against Oregon in Eugene. So that could be one of his Heisman moments or big games that he can win. But all of a sudden, though, it's interesting about the Pac-12. The Pac-12 picked the worst time to be great. Because this time next year, there's going to be no Pac-12. But all of a sudden, there's big games all over the schedule. There's big games all over for these guys to win the Heisman Trophy. Or not win it, but at least make their case. Like USC has obviously Colorado. USC is going to have Notre Dame. USC is going to have 12 ranked Utah, 9th ranked Notre Dame. Cal should be a good game, a game I will be going to. They have Washington, number 8, Washington, number 24, UCLA, and then number 13, Oregon. So all of a sudden, if you look at the schedule, maybe I can share my screen to show you guys this. All of a sudden, if you look at USC's schedule, it is like a gauntlet. Like all of a sudden, USC has about 4 or 5. If you're seeing this, almost 4 or 5 straight ranked teams they're going to play. Now, obviously, this could change, obviously, by November 11th or November 18th, but Caleb Williams is going to have a chance. His schedule is allowing him to have a chance to win back-to-back. Shedeur is going to have a chance because the Pac-12 right now is the best conference in college football. They are the best conference in college football. So these two quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams, are going to have a shot at winning the Heisman because their schedules are going to allow it. They have some pretty big games coming up, especially against each other. Quinn Ewers, he has some big games coming up as well. Oklahoma obviously is a big game, right? That's probably pretty much it, really. I mean, Kansas State November 4th. He already has his big game out the way against Alabama. That's his signature win. So Ewers just needs to – is it Ewers or Ewers? I keep saying it differently. I apologize. But, he has a shot. So this Heisman race, in my opinion, is definitely going to be tight. It's going to be one that, could come down to the wire. And new people are going to come in and out of it. But these 3 you see on your screen, to me, are the top 3 right now candidates to win the Heisman Trophy because they're signature wins, because they're numbers, and because Texas plays in the Big 12 now. But Shedeur and Caleb Williams, crazy enough, playing the best conference in college football, and they're going to have the best chance to prove they can win the Heisman because they're going to have the best option of games or collection of games to play, particularly against each other. So that should be a fun race. This season so far has not disappointed. I'm excited. There's a lot of storylines, obviously, coming out of Boulder, Colorado, is where the epicenter of college football is right now. I'm super excited. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to try to go to that Colorado and USC game because I think that's going to be a showdown. I'm hoping both teams go undefeated. I'm hoping Colorado lives up to the end of the bargain. I have no issue. I have no worry about USC not showing up and undefeated. A little worried about Colorado, but we'll see. Definitely gonna be a fun ride up the season. But that's gonna do it, folks. I really, really appreciate you guys coming on board to doing the 3 and out, the top 3 takeaways of the college football season or of the week, of week 2. We'll be back next week for week 3. Definitely going to try to have this out a little earlier, not midweek, but a little earlier, hopefully Sunday or Monday of next week. and definitely looking forward to talking college football with you guys again. For myself, be easy on Be Easy Sports, and I'll see you guys next time.